Newcastle County Executive Tom Gordon is our first person this week. He's on set. Welcome. Thanks for being here.
It's always great to be here with you, Nikki.
Oh, that's good to hear. So you released your budget last month. No new taxes. It seems fairly modest in terms of growth. Do you wish you could have included anything else, any other projects?
Well, if I had, I would have had to do a tax increase. And this is my 12th year or 10th year as county executive, and I've never raised taxes. And right now is the worst time to raise taxes. I don't know if you saw The Economist. We're the last state in the union in wage growth.
Yeah.
And we've lost so many major corporations that people are struggling from all over Newcastle County. So it certainly wasn't an opportunity I had. So I had to bring a budget in without a tax increase. And that was the challenge.
You're right in terms of it's tough for many people, so much so there's a big push across the country for $15 an hour, a wage increase. You're certainly a big supporter, maybe at least $10 an hour. Right. Do you or have you received any pushback?
I'm not. And when you're talking about $15 an hour, ours is $10, but our people have benefits that usually equate to more than half of that. So what has happened in this country is we've lost the middle class. It truly is the biggest between the haves and the have-nots in the history of our country. And if something isn't done, it's going to, I think it's going to be the end of capitalism, and it's going to be a real serious problem in this country because people are not going to put up with them. They just don't understand how much the middle class has been lost since they deregulated and they allowed the reduction by Reagan of the taxes on the wealthiest has just eviscerated. They thought it was just trickle down. It's not trickled down, it's trickled up. So now you have a very small percentage of people getting all the money, and you see people like you see symptoms like the city of Wilmington all across this country where we're losing everything.
So what will it take, just curious, what will it take to get a wage increase in the state of Delaware?
The state of Delaware is facing
wage,
tremendous losses in everything between the sheet money, their gambling, their personal income tax. They're in serious trouble. It would take an initiative by the governor. He's facing a multitude of problems since he's taken office almost.
Yeah.
He has been presiding on these trade agreements which took everything out of the country and the corporations which have taken over. So I don't want to speak for him. He'd have to put a priority on it, and he's got multiple difficulties. But look, it was Henry Ford that said, you know, if I pay my people $5 an hour and make them wait, they can buy the cars they're making. And it worked, and it would work here. But our problem is bigger than that. The corporations are running the country, and the people are not. Our Senate and House are filled with millionaires, and they're the one percenters.
Well, moving on to another subject, part of the Newcastle County 5-year plan you released a few months ago, you called for improvements to the Port of Wilmington. What's the next step? When will we see something start?
When you look at what we've lost, and we're right now looking at whether we're going to lose DuPont, but we've lost 2 automobile plants, we've lost the steel plant, we've lost everything in the city from electric hose and rubbers, all the places where people could go that maybe didn't have a college degree. I had a study done my first month, and it said there was a couple opportunities, Delaware City and the river, the port. You've got to expand that port, and we've been trying for 2 years. It really would take the state of Delaware to get behind it and make it happen. And I don't think there's any other opportunities left where you can employ thousands of people at good pay rates. I think it could begin to turn around this spiraling out of control state of Delaware. It's spiraling out of control. And if we've got food deserts all over, the food cabinets in the city of Wilmington are being, it's just not good news. And I'm always a doom and gloom guy, but I tell you, I know finances, and I know public finances for being around so long, that unless you do something of that magnitude, it's only going to get worse, which is going to result in we're the homicide capital of the world right now in Wilmington, and that's a largely result of opportunity and financing and no jobs and the school situation.
Well, on a another note, a positive note, something that you've been passionate about as well. Let's talk about the Heroin Education campaign. What do you hope it will do, and can it be sustained?
Well, that's not even positive. We have, with a dying economy, you get the only thing hiring is the street, and the street's hiring these kids. But heroin was a problem when I was in office in the 90s, and it's a problem now. But the problem now is it's so pure that if a person takes it one time for the rest of their life,
they're addicted.
They will be wanting that.
Yeah.
So we created a program that says there's no way out. It's a scare factor, it's a fear factor. Try to tell these kids, if you go to a party and somebody puts a powdery substance in front of you, it might be brown, white, whatever, do not take it, because it literally changes your DNA, I'm told. And that drug has teeth, and you will be forever wanting to take that drug again. And the success rate, I'm afraid, is not very good when you're addicted to heroin. But we're taking some criticism that it may be too tough and there's no way out. But for these young kids that are taking it, and a lot of them don't know what they're taking, we want to be tough. We want to scare them.
Well, sure, it'll be tough, but I think the good part is pushing education, trying to get people, make them aware so that they can know.
So it's a $500,000 ad. We got games on Xbox. You see it advertised on all the major channels, and we're about to get some early reviews in to see how we're doing. But I started Heroin Alert back in the 90s, where we went around with graphic pictures and as our chief of police says, if you can teach people, to buckle up, we can teach them not to take heroin.
Yeah.
But we don't have a choice, and I'm afraid we're still losing. We have heroin overdoses every day, and it's all over the place, not just in Center City. It's in the entire county. And it's embarrassing. I walk up to a county park, and you see the glassine bags all over, and I would like to be able to tell you next year we've made a significant decrease, and we'll see. But we're going to do everything we can, and we're talking to people like Joe Connor and Adam Taylor, who are with connections, and we're going to try to see if we get some assistance with treatment and other things.
Okay, so you're working on that. Have about 30 seconds left. I want to get your take on politics. Are you ready to jump on the Hillary Clinton for president bandwagon, or are you waiting for Joe Biden to announce?
Well, certainly if Joe Biden announces, I'm with Joe. I went to Iowa for a month and a half with Joe Biden. So I would have to say I'd have to wait for Joe, and then it would be Hillary, certainly.
Okay.
The rest of that group scares me, because it's going to be a speech from some Republicans going to say our best days are ahead of us, 1,000 points of lights, we will bow down to no country. And then that'll be the end of our world, because we don't have much time left before the corporations in this country totally dominate.
Okay. Well, thanks so much. I'm so grateful that you allowed us to pick your brain. Newcastle County Executive Tom Gorton, once again here as our first person. Thanks.